I wonder what you think about this one. This is Milliband sweeps away onshore wind farm curbs. Now, when it comes to NIMBYism and wind farms, there are very many people who say, oh my gosh, they're ugly, they're noisy, they don't necessarily produce as much energy as they're cracked up to, and my gosh, I don't want one of those anywhere near my backyard. But on the other hand, you know, we need to do something about producing as much energy as we can in as efficient a way as we possibly can, don't we, Nicola?
We do, and I think there's got to be a middle ground here where, you know, it's not literally going to be in people's backyards. They will be in vision, though. I don't think these things are particularly ghastly to look at. I know for years or decades even, people were saying, oh, we don't want to see these windmills. I think they are quite beautiful. They're a thing of beauty.
And I'll just stop you there. I mean, there will be people watching this programme thinking, Nicola thought these wind farms are beautiful. Has she ever actually seen one?
Well,
and they're big, ugly bits of machinery that crank round and round. I mean, others, I'm sure, will like to paint them and take photographs of them, but, you know, beautiful, really?
I do think so, yeah. I mean, they're a feat of structural engineering, and we have some near where my parents are. There's not many around London, granted, but near where my parents are, and I think they are beautiful. That's in Lancashire, up north. But I would completely understand if they're making some kind of noise. But in terms of what they look like, no, I'm afraid I'd rather look at one of these than more air pollution.
I think they're ghastly, honestly. I've been to some parts of the world, down in the West Country. You suddenly come round a corner on a road and there's these huge wind turbines, which I think look extremely ugly. Ed Milliband is a fanatic about wind turbines, green energy. But, you know, we've got to get down to the basic facts. Green energy is very, very expensive, not when the wind blows and turns the turbine around, but actually setting up those wind turbines. They're incredibly expensive. 50% of them come from China. The subsidies for the land they're built on are enormously expensive to the government, and it can sometimes take 12 years for one wind turbine to pay back the cost of putting it up. So I don't think they're cost efficient. We have to have power stations on standby all the time in case the wind drops to a level where it's producing no power. And we don't have a lot of wind on the land in this country. We've got wind at sea, obviously, in the North Sea.
I'm just wondering if people might think you're generating that wind yourself, Mike. Just with the sheer effusiveness of your response, your negativity towards wind farms, whether that wind, we can feel it billowing through the studio. It's going right through everybody's TVs as we speak.
I'm negative towards it because I want a balanced argument on it, which Nicola's already said, and there's no balanced argument if you say all wind power is good. The wind doesn't blow very much in this country, so I don't think it is that great.
Try telling that to anyone whose umbrella was just turned inside out in July.
Well, one day in the summer, you know what I mean?
But, I mean, Nicola, the wind doesn't blow very much in this country. That is the most controversial thing you'll ever say.
I say absolutely does, particularly by the seaside. We've got to have a compromise at some point, haven't we, Mike?
Maybe a compromise, but I just think it's going to go too far the other way.
Bear with me on this one. Bear with me on this one.
Yeah.
How about, is it beyond the wit and wisdom of mankind to combine wind farms with new accommodation and homes? Have you ever heard of a windmill?
Sure.
Would it be possible, like that windmill in old Amsterdam with the mouse there on the stair? Would it be possible to combine housing and wind
For
farms?
people under 30, it would be quite an attractive prospect because a lot of, most young people...
Except when the wind isn't blowing. David Cameron had a windmill on the top of his house. Do you remember when he was leader of the opposition? Never produced any power. That's the other problem, actually, with these turbines. Even if they're producing power, and even if the wind is blowing, you need an incredible network of supply lines to get it from the remote areas where people don't complain about it to the towns which need the energy. It's a very complicated business and very, very expensive.
Right, now I'm going to get very personal with you.